circulation. And on my way up here, I actually used Fifth Avenue and went that way. It was a little bit different than normal, but it was fantastic. It was great experience. And
Good evening and welcome to the 12th virtual budget hearing for fiscal year 21-22. I'm Assistant City Manager Jeff Barton. We have staff in the audience tonight from the Budget and Research Department, and we're very gracious to have our host, Councilwoman Betty Guardado from District 5. Councilwoman, would you like to say any words before we begin this evening?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jeff, for all of your help with this budget. I just want to welcome everyone to our budget hearing today. We've been doing a lot of work on this budget, and we've heard a lot of the concerns. This is the second budget that I attend, and we've heard a lot of the issues that you guys have been talking to us about throughout the year when it comes to police, when it comes to arts and culture. I've heard a lot of the park on 55th Avenue in Samantha. So we'll definitely talk to Councilmember Garcia about that. And we've heard a lot about parks and making sure that we are able to continue to revitalize our parks and making sure that they're available for our kids to be able to come out and play. We live in these very weird times, and we want to make sure that we can continue to keep our children healthy as they are finishing their school year. There's a lot of them that have been able to go back to school, but there's some of them that are still at home. So we definitely want to make sure that we keep that into consideration. We've heard about rehabilitation center in West Phoenix, homeless shelters. We've put in a lot of work into that, and we will continue to do that. It's only the beginning, given so many issues that we're having. Street maintenance. We've done a lot of street maintenance in the last 2 years, and we will continue to do that work as well. So I'll now switch over to Spanish, Jeff. So quería dar la bienvenida a todos. Soy la concejal Betty Guardado y les quiero dar las gracias por quitar tiempo de su día para estar con nosotros el día de hoy. Hemos estado escuchando muchas de las cosas que ustedes nos han dicho a nosotros sobre las cosas en las que ustedes quieren que trabajemos. Hemos escuchado mucho sobre los parques, que tenemos que hacer mucho trabajo en los parques. Nuestros niños han estado fuera de la escuela por más de un año y tenemos que asegurarnos que nuestros parques, nuestras librerías, los lugares donde ellos pueden estar de una manera segura y sana, estén listos para ellos. Entonces vamos a seguir continuando empujando para hacer cosas en nuestros parques. Estamos escuchando sobre la policía, estamos haciendo trabajo también sobre eso por las personas que no tienen casa, que no tienen dónde vivir. Necesitamos seguir haciendo cosas para tratar de ayudarles a conseguir una vivienda donde ellos puedan vivir, centros de rehabilitación. Sabemos que tenemos muchos problemas con las drogas ahorita y como ciudad tenemos que encontrar soluciones a estos problemas de los que ustedes nos están hablando. Hemos escuchado mucho del parque en la 55 Avenida y la Samantha Way. Vamos a seguir hablando con el concejal de ese distrito y ver la manera cómo lo podemos apoyar para asegurarnos que podamos hacer este parque, mantenimiento de las calles. Hemos hecho mucho trabajo en mantenimiento de las calles, pero vamos a seguir trabajando en ese problema. Y también tenemos problemas muy, muy grandes ahorita en la ciudad cuando viene y ocupamos más lugares de rehabilitación. Y tenemos que plantar más árboles, sabemos que tenemos un problema global con las temperaturas aquí en Phoenix y estamos también viendo la manera cómo vamos a solucionar este problema. Estoy orgullosa de lo que hemos podido conseguir para toda la ciudad, pero específicamente para el Distrito 5. Y con eso les quiero dar las gracias por estar con nosotros el día de hoy. Now I'll hand it over to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Councilwoman Guardado. So again, I want to emphasize that tonight is our 12th hearing. We do have 2 more left. And so each of these hearings, we do tape them and rebroadcast them on the city's YouTube channel. We also tabulate all of the comments that we receive, and we provide those to the council in the weekly Gen Info packet. Those packets are also available for you to read comments. And then for those of you who don't want to speak at a hearing or are unable to attend, you can also submit comments to Phoenix.gov at Phoenix.gov. I'm sorry, I've got that wrong. It's budget.research@phoenix.gov. I'm giving the address out to the website. So again, we do take this feedback entirely seriously. It does help the council make their decisions as they go into budget adoption process. And generally speaking, the trial budget does look different than what our final budget that gets adopted at the end, because that is taking into account your feedback. I also at this time want to introduce our interpreter, Mr. Mario Barajas. Mario?
Jeff, thank you. This is Mario Barajas. Good afternoon, everybody. My name, as I said, is Mario Barajas, and together with my colleague, Elsie Duarte, we will both be serving as Spanish interpreters for today's virtual budget audience. We will ask as a favor, if anyone's going to be providing a public comment, please try to speak slowly and clearly so that way we can try to interpret what you are saying as fully as possible. Thank you. Now, to avoid any confusion, I'm going to review the telephone sign-on instructions for English speakers, and subsequently I will review the same pertinent information for our Spanish speakers. Through your telephone, you will be dialing 602-666-0783, and you will enter meeting ID 187-371-7730. Then you're going to push pound. And then push pound again when prompted for attendee ID. I will now take this time to introduce myself to our Spanish-speaking audience. Muy buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Mario Barajas y junto con mi colega Elsie Duarte estaremos sirviéndoles como intérpretes para la audiencia del presupuesto virtual de hoy. Les pedimos, como favor, si es que va a estar dando un comentario público, hable despacio y deténgase después de cada pocas oraciones para que podamos interpretar lo que esté diciendo de la manera más completa posible. Muchísimas gracias. Ahora les indicaré cómo acceder a la audiencia por teléfono en español, si es que aún no lo han hecho. De su teléfono estará marcando el número 602-666-0783. Introduzca el número de identificación o ID de la reunión, que viene siendo 187-416-4077 y luego pound, o sea, el signo de número. Nuevamente, introduzca el signo de número o pound cuando se le solicite el número de identificación o ID de asistente. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Mario. So as we move into the next phase of our hearing tonight, we'll be showing a budget video. It's a brief video that highlights the things that we're excited about proposing for community engagement and feedback. We do have a $153 million surplus this year. That surplus is made up of both one-time and ongoing resources, and it's very important that we structure the budget to ensure that we maintain solvency moving forward. So again, I'm going to ask Matt Heil, who will start the video, who will walk us through that video very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This evening, because we are in a bilingual hearing, we'll start first with the budget video in Spanish and then go to the budget video, the budget video in English and then the budget video in Spanish. So if we can have IT cue that up, and then we'll look over the summary trial budget for 2021-22. Thank you.
El presupuesto sugerido de la Municipalidad de Phoenix para el año fiscal 2021-2022, propuesto por el Administrador Municipal de Phoenix, está listo para la revisión y los comentarios del público. El objetivo de este presupuesto sugerido es identificar los programas y los servicios que construyan una municipalidad mejor y más inclusiva para todos.
Phoenix tiene una larga trayectoria en el presupuesto público lo que permite que la comunidad participe en el futuro de nuestra municipalidad, iniciando la participación pública mucho antes de lo requerido. Debido a la pandemia, este año la participación del público será de manera virtual, pero nuestro objetivo es ofrecerle más oportunidades para que comparta su opinión. Entre el 2 y 20 de abril se llevarán a cabo audiencias comunitarias virtuales sobre el presupuesto en inglés y español en los distritos del Consejo y toda la municipalidad para jóvenes y adultos mayores. Y este año presentamos la herramienta Fund Phoenix, una manera interactiva de compartir la información importante para usted con respecto a los programas y los servicios de la municipalidad. La ley exige que el presupuesto de la municipalidad esté equilibrado cada año, y este año nos complace informar que se prevé un superávit presupuestario de $153 millones, el cual se compone de $98 millones en fondos únicos y $55 millones en financiamiento constante. Esto es gracias a la economía con una constante solidez de Phoenix, el liderazgo firme de la alcaldesa y el consejo municipal, y el uso estratégico de los datos por parte de la municipalidad para dirigir nuestros esfuerzos durante la pandemia.
Los empleados de la municipalidad han estado al frente de la pandemia durante más de un año y contando, para brindar servicios y apoyo esenciales a nuestros residentes y clientes. Aproximadamente el 77% del superávit del presupuesto sugerido para 2021-22 se asignará a la compensación para los empleados a fin de seguir conservando y contratando los mejores talentos para brindar el nivel de servicio en el que confían nuestros clientes para mantenerse seguros, sanos y conectados. Se asignarán $35 millones para atender las necesidades importantes que el Consejo y la comunidad plantearon en 6 áreas.
Área de enfoque número 1. Reforma de seguridad pública y respuesta. Se exige más responsabilidad, respuesta, transparencia y confianza por parte de los programas de seguridad pública. En esta propuesta del presupuesto, la municipalidad expande un programa ya exitoso del Departamento de Bomberos, donde expertos capacitados en salud mental responden a llamadas de personas al 911 que necesitan servicios de salud en caso de una crisis. La expansión del programa de asistencia comunitaria responde a la petición de la comunidad y del Consejo de encontrar maneras innovadoras para responder a las llamadas de crisis usando profesionales de salud mental en lugar de agentes de la policía. Esto no solo fortalece los resultados de salud, sino que también libra a los oficiales de la policía y bomberos para que se concentren en llamadas de seguridad pública, reduciendo los tiempos de respuesta en la comunidad. Además, el presupuesto agrega otras reformas importantes de seguridad pública al añadir más operadores del 911, reducir el tiempo de espera para obtener registros públicos de la policía, mejorar la responsabilidad de los oficiales de la policía a través de un mejor sistema de recursos humanos y reportes más completos de datos criminales.
Área de enfoque 2. Respuesta ante el COVID y recuperación. La municipalidad enfrentó la pandemia de COVID de manera adecuada al proteger a los empleados y la comunidad, ya que nos basamos en los datos y contratamos expertos en salud pública para conformar nuestros esfuerzos. Cambiamos el modelo del ayuntamiento en un modelo con citas previas únicamente.
También enfocamos nuestros programas y servicios en el apoyo a la comunidad que necesita conectividad Wi-Fi, acceso al apoyo alimentario de emergencia y servicios de biblioteca virtual y en la acera, lo que requiere personal adicional y mejoras tecnológicas. El financiamiento es necesario para continuar con estos esfuerzos durante la pandemia. Área de enfoque número 3. Cambio climático y adaptación al calor. El cambio climático y el calor sin precedentes en Phoenix requieren de una inversión en estrategias para atender los impactos negativos en nuestros residentes, en especial sobre los más vulnerables, como los adultos mayores y las personas en situación de pobreza y sin hogar. El presupuesto sugerido incluye el establecimiento de una nueva oficina de respuesta y mitigación del calor para enfocar estos esfuerzos, la contratación de nuevo personal para plantar y dar mantenimiento a los árboles y el avance del programa de corredores frescos de la municipalidad. Todo esto para cumplir los objetivos del Plan Maestro de Árboles y Sombras, a fin de duplicar la sombra de árboles en 2030 y reducir el impacto del calor.
Área de enfoque 4. Viviendas asequibles e indigencia. La municipalidad carece de viviendas asequibles y hay personas sin hogar como nunca antes. El Consejo Municipal aprobó un plan de vivienda de Phoenix y un plan de estrategias para personas sin hogar con el fin de encontrar soluciones para identificar el financiamiento que permita aumentar y mejorar las unidades de vivienda asequibles, así como para usar el financiamiento federal y trabajar con los socios comunitarios para ayudar a las personas sin hogar. El financiamiento proporcionará personal y programas para promover el desarrollo de viviendas asequibles en terrenos de propiedad municipal y garantizar la seguridad de las personas sin hogar, de los vecindarios y las empresas afectadas.
Área de enfoque número 5. Construcción de comunidad y respuesta ante el crecimiento. Aún existe una gran necesidad de conectar a las comunidades marginadas con los beneficios económicos del crecimiento continuo de nuestra municipalidad. Financiaremos programas y servicios que promuevan la educación equitativa y las oportunidades de recreación para las poblaciones jóvenes y con necesidades especiales, incluidos el College Depot de la Biblioteca Pública de Phoenix, vecindarios limpios y seguros, y el apoyo a las pequeñas empresas locales. El financiamiento apoyará las crecientes necesidades en los parques y los centros recreativos de la municipalidad, incluidos el nuevo centro comunitario César Chávez, cuya apertura se prevé para el otoño de 2021, el parque Margaret T. Hans en el centro de Phoenix y el área de recreación Dean Hills en el norte de Phoenix, así como el exitoso programa de recreación para la inclusión adaptativa para jóvenes y adultos con o sin discapacidades. También proponemos un aumento en el financiamiento de las subvenciones para el arte y la preservación histórica.
Área de enfoque 6. Responsabilidad administrativa. La municipalidad debe seguir fomentando un entorno diverso, equitativo e inclusivo para la vida y el trabajo para los residentes y los empleados. A fin de tener éxito, proponemos crear la Oficina de Diversidad, Equidad e Inclusión.
También invertiremos en tecnologías para apoyar la toma de decisiones basada en los datos en todos los departamentos de la municipalidad y para proteger los sistemas de tecnología de la información de la municipalidad contra las amenazas de ciberseguridad, mejorar los procesos electorales para garantizar la transparencia y la seguridad, promover la participación electoral y conectar a los residentes con los servicios de bibliotecas y parques. Esto fue solo una muestra de lo que encontrará en el presupuesto sugerido de la Municipalidad de Phoenix para el 2021-22. Esperamos que revise los detalles adicionales en el folleto del presupuesto disponible en línea en Phoenix.gov/budget.
Comparta su opinión de la manera más conveniente para usted en una de las 14 audiencias comunitarias virtuales sobre el presupuesto mediante la herramienta interactiva Fund Phoenix o escribiendo a budget.research@phoenix.gov. Puede comentar en las redes sociales de la municipalidad @CityOfPhoenixAZ en Facebook o en Twitter usando el hashtag PhoenixBudget o comuníquese con nosotros al 602-262-4800.
El 4 de mayo del 2021, el administrador municipal presentará su propuesta del presupuesto para 2021-22 ante el Consejo Municipal de Phoenix. El 18 de mayo del 2021 se tomará la decisión presupuestaria del Consejo. Las reuniones se transmitirán en línea y en Phoenix TV.
Gracias por ser parte de este proceso importante. Esperamos escuchar sus ideas para el presupuesto sugerido de este año y para el futuro de Phoenix.
The City of Phoenix trial budget for fiscal year 2021-22, proposed by the Phoenix City Manager, is ready for public review and comment. The goal of this trial budget is to identify programs and services that build a better, more inclusive city for all.
Phoenix has a long history of public budgeting, giving the community a voice in the future of our city by starting the public involvement much earlier than required. This year, due to the pandemic, public involvement will be virtual, but our goal is that we will provide even more opportunities for you to share your feedback.
We'll host virtual budget community hearings between April 2nd and April 20th in both English and Spanish by council district and citywide for youth and for seniors. And this year, we've launched the Fund Phoenix tool, an interactive way to share what's important to you when it comes to city programs and services.
The law requires the city's budget to be balanced each year. And this year, we are happy to report a projected budget surplus of $153 million, made up of $98 million in one-time funds and $55 million in ongoing funding. This is thanks to Phoenix's continued strong economy and sound leadership by the mayor and city council, and the city's strategic use of data to direct our efforts during the pandemic.
City employees have stood on the front lines of the pandemic more than a year and counting to provide critical services and support to our residents and customers. Approximately 77% of the surplus in the 2021-22 trial budget is allocated to employee compensation to continue to retain and recruit top talent, to provide the level of service our customers rely on to stay safe, healthy, and connected.
$35 million is allocated to address important needs raised by the council and the community across 6 areas. Focus Area 1, Public Safety Reform and Responsiveness. More accountability, responsiveness, transparency, and trust is demanded from public safety programs. In this budget proposal, the city expands an already successful fire department program where trained mental health experts respond to 911 callers needing crisis health services. The expansion of the Community Assistance Program follows community and council requests for innovative ways to respond to crisis calls for service with mental health professionals rather than police officers. This not only strengthens health outcomes, but frees up police officers and firefighters to focus on public safety calls, reducing response times for our community. In addition, the budget adds other important public safety reforms by adding additional 911 operators, reducing wait time for police public records, improving police officer accountability through an improved human resource management system, and more comprehensive reporting of crime data.
Focus Area 2, COVID response and resiliency. The city's navigated the COVID pandemic well, protecting employees and the community because we have relied on data and contracted public health experts to inform our efforts. We transitioned City Hall to an appointment-only model. We also pivoted our programs and services to support the community in need of Wi-Fi connectivity and access to emergency food support and virtual and curbside library services, requiring additional staffing and technology enhancements. Funding's required to continue these efforts through the pandemic.
Focus Area 3, Climate Change and Heat Readiness. Climate change and the record-breaking heat in Phoenix call for investment in strategies to address the negative impacts on our residents, particularly our most vulnerable, including seniors and those in poverty and experiencing homelessness. The trial budget includes a new Office of Heat Response and Mitigation to focus these efforts, the addition of staff to plant and maintain trees, and advance the city's Cool Corridors program, all to meet the goals of the Tree and Shade Master Plan to double the tree canopy by 2030 and reduce the impact of heat.
Focus Area 4, affordable housing and homelessness. The city has a lack of affordable housing and more people experiencing homelessness than ever before. The City Council approved a Housing Phoenix plan and a Homeless Strategies plan to find solutions to identify funding to increase and improve affordable housing units and to leverage federal funding and work with community partners to help those experiencing homelessness. Funding will provide staffing and programs to foster affordable housing developments on city-owned land and ensure the safety and security of those experiencing homelessness and the impacted neighborhoods and businesses.
Focus Area 5, building community and responding to growth. There continues to be a great need to connect underserved communities to the economic benefits of our city's continued growth. We will fund programs and services that foster equitable education and recreation opportunities for youth and special needs populations, including the Phoenix Public Library's College Depot, clean and safe neighborhoods, and support for homegrown small businesses. Funding will support the growing needs at city parks and recreation centers, including the new Cesar Chavez Community Center, scheduled to open in the fall of 2021, Margaret T. Hance Park in downtown Phoenix, and Deem Hills Recreation Area in North Phoenix, as well as the successful Inclusive Recreation Program for residents with special needs. We also propose an increase in funding for arts and historic preservation grants.
Focus Area 6, Administrative Accountability. The city must continue to foster a diverse, equitable, and inclusive environment to live and work for residents and employees. To succeed, we propose to create the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. We'll also invest in technologies to support data-driven decision-making across city departments and to protect the city's IT systems from cybersecurity threats. Enhance election processes to increase engagement in city elections and connect residents to library and park services.
This has been just a taste of what you will find in the 2021-2022 City of Phoenix trial budget. We hope that you'll review additional details in the budget available online at Phoenix.gov/budget.
Please share your feedback in whatever way works best for you at one of our 14 community budget hearings or by email at budget.research@phoenix.gov. Through our Fund Phoenix interactive tool, you can comment on the city's social media at City of Phoenix AZ on Facebook or Twitter and use the hashtag #PhoenixBudget. Or call us at 602-262-4800. The city manager will present his proposed budget for 2021-22 to the Phoenix City Council on May 4th, 2021. The council's budget decision will take place on May 18th, 2021. Both meetings will be streamed online and on Phoenix TV. Thank you for being part of this important process. We look forward to hearing your ideas for this year's trial budget and the future of Phoenix.
Thank you. I'll now ask Matt Heil to read the statement before we begin public comment.
Thank you, sir. I have just a brief statement about conduct during public comment, and then the interpreter will read that same statement in Spanish. Members of the public will have the opportunity to speak for up to 2 minutes on budget issues of interest or concern to them. Speakers must present their comments in a respectful and courteous manner. Profane language and personal attacks on members of the public, council members, or staff are not allowed. A person who violates these rules can lose their opportunity to continue to speak. The Arizona Open Meeting Law permits the City Council to listen to the comments, but prohibits council members from discussing or acting on the matters presented. And Mario, if you could read the same statement in Spanish.
Yes, thank you, Matt.
Thank you,
Se
sir.
va a repetir la conducta de la audiencia ahora en español. Los miembros del público tendrán la oportunidad de hablar hasta 2 minutos sobre cuestiones del presupuesto que les interesen o preocupen. Los oradores deben presentar sus comentarios de manera respetuosa y cortés. No se permiten decir groserías ni ataques personales a miembros del público, miembros del consejo o personal. Una persona que viole estas reglas puede perder la oportunidad de seguir hablando. La ley de reuniones abiertas de Arizona permite que el consejo municipal escuche los comentarios, pero prohíbe a los miembros del consejo discutir o actuar sobre los asuntos presentados. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Our first speaker is Cynthia Garcia. It looks as though Cynthia is not on the line, so our next speaker is Jennifer Valencia. Jennifer, are you on the line?
Yes, I am here.
Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. So I just would like to say that the police department does not need more funding. We should be funding resources that our community actually needs and actually helps our people. I think pandemic-related funding to cities and states should be used to support individuals and communities who have been impacted. This money should be used for further housing assistance, health care, income support, and not to support the police budget. I think time and time again, we've seen police terrorize our communities, and they are not doing what everyone wants to believe they are doing. And I believe that budgets are a reflection of our values and priorities. And with this budget, the city is telling us that they prioritize cops over our livelihoods. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jerry Lynn Vanier. Jerry Lynn, it looks as though Jerry Lynn is not on the line, so our next speaker is Carla Cruz. Carla, are you on the line?
Yes, hello. Good evening. And so I also agree with the sentiment that this city budget is putting police above people's lives. We have seen time and time again how this racist classics department has troubled our communities, has damaged our communities, and I think that it's time that we put more emphasis on our healing, on our safety, and we can do that by, providing public transportation that is free and accessible to people. We can do that by providing housing assistance to people who need it, like me as a Latina that has experienced homelessness before. I felt much safer, like crashing at my friends' sofas than like trying to sleep in my car because I didn't have anywhere else to go. Entonces, I think that if we allocate resources to housing people, to making sure that they have food on their tables, are able to feed their families, don't have to worry about paying their utilities, if we're able to fund like actually helping people live their lives without the constant grief of trying to exist in still this pandemic reality, I think that that would help our livelihoods more. And I do not believe that police need more funding.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Yasmin Sagastume. Yasmin, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. Hi, my name is Yasmin. I'm a member of District 5. I'm calling to oppose the proposed budget. This budget should be focused on helping the community and giving them the resources that they need instead of investing into a system that punishes and kills people. The way that y'all can do this is by reallocating $10 million from the police, specifically from the crime suppression squad, since marijuana is legal now, and arrests will be significantly dropping. But we can invest those $10 million into a rehabilitation facility in West Phoenix, or permanent free transportation, or housing and shelter support for those who need them. All of these things would be much more helpful for the community and would help people's needs be met. I would also like to add that if we do have a mental health crisis response team, it should live outside of the police, and these should be individuals that are equipped to deal with situations that the police have time and time again proved that they cannot handle. The money for it should also be coming from the police budget as well. Not only is that the bare minimum for the victims that were harmed by police, but while they were having mental health crises, but again, the police budget is disproportionate, and there's plenty of money there that could go to funding this program. Yeah, police are reactive by nature, and they do not solve the issues that the community faces, and realistically, we wouldn't need them if we dealt with the issues beforehand. So this would create happier and healthier communities because, again, people's needs would be met, and we'd be focusing on root issues rather than reacting to things afterwards. So that is it. I yield my time.
Our next speaker is Viridiana Hernandez. Viridiana, are you on the line? It does not appear as though she is on the line, so our next caller is Zara Flores. Zara, are you on the line?
Yes, hello. Can you
Please,
hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Awesome. So one of the things that I heard in the video around the budget, right, was around providing support for marginalized communities. And I think that's really interesting considering that marginalized communities are created by structural barriers, right? And so when we're talking about marginalization, what we're actually talking about is the systematic robbing of people's power. Changing of data, changing the way we gather data through the way that if data gets collected, how does it get used? How does it get implemented? How does all the work that our community does to tell you that we don't want more money for the police? How does all that effort that we put in actually end up getting tossed away or thrown away or brushed away? How does it get turned into something else because we decide that, oh, we can't touch. We don't have the sense to be able to touch police's money. And so that's what I'm here to highlight. Same thing that most of everyone is here to highlight is how we need to stop investing our money in the police, because this is something that our communities have identified is actually a barrier to our health, is the fact that we are giving so much money to the police, and rather than listening to us, all our voices and our opinions and our work gets erased, thrown away, and shifted. The goalpost keeps shifting.
Our next speaker is Uvixa Dominguez. Uvixa, are you on the line?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Please proceed.
Hi, my name is Uvixa. I'm 16 and I am also a member of District 5, and I am against the city giving more money to the police. The people need it way more, and besides, all people do is basically harass people in our neighborhoods and over-criminalize them. If you've ever noticed, our streets have not been fixed and they're still cracked. There should be more rehab centers that are accessible to all people, and more homeless facilities that should be advocated around West Phoenix. The police don't help but kill, and that is very high, especially in our neighborhoods. We are very over-criminalized, and that's unfair for people who live here. I have lived here basically all of my life, and there has not been any change, and that is very difficult for me because I am also part of the youth, and basically how am I supposed to live here safely when there have been police shootings and basically just police harassing people? Am I supposed to live here and just expect that from me? Anyways, no more money for police, no more money for police. That's basically the whole thing.
We need it more. Our streets need it more. Our transportation. If we can get free transportation permanently, that would help me a lot because I need to get to school. Police aren't going to take me to school. And we just need people to be safe because the homeless rates here are very high. And if you've ever walked down the street of 59th and Camelback, you see tons of people and they basically just need help. So if you can take money from the budget to people, that would basically solve our issues and stop giving money to police. Thank you. I yield my time.
Our next speaker is Mansour Kahivzov. Mansour, are you on the line? It looks as though they're not on the line. So our next speaker is Cleo Warner. Cleo, are you on the line? It looks as though Cleo is not on the line. So our next speaker is Ismael Morales. Ismael, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak with all of you this evening. My name is Ismael Morales, and I'm currently a member on the Phoenix Arts and Culture Commission, which is a major shift of what our conversation is talking about. While I do proudly live in District 3, we advocate for arts in for the entire city of Phoenix as a whole, including District 5. I am very passionate for the arts in the city, and this defines how we are as a city with diversity and unity. I appreciate all council members that have stepped up and supported our mission in the arts in the city. I want to thank in particular to my councilwoman Deborah Stark and of course to Councilwoman Guardado, who is here for supporting the arts. I also appreciate the help of the city that has received that the Office of Arts and Culture has received in helping local artists with COVID-19 federal dollars during the pandemic. This year in the budget, it is proposed to be an increase of $200,000 for the arts. That includes $110,000 for support local artist grants, $60,000 for maintaining our public art displays, and $30,000 to support youth arts programs, professional development, and community programs. This is great news for our city, and our citizens will appreciate it a lot, especially when the arts serve as a good way for socioeconomic recovery of the city from the pandemic. More than anything, to support public art, which shows the beauty that it is our city of Phoenix, especially when I go through the Sky Harbor International. It's always a pride that we show there's public art in the airports. And so I really thank the City Council for support of that. I'm asking for the Phoenix City Council as a whole to support this increase within the budget and to support the mission of having the arts and supporting our local artists in our city for our public benefit. Thank you very much for your time.
Matt, I have a question for Ismael.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Ismael, for taking the time and calling in. And definitely very proud to be able to support your efforts and everything that you're doing out in the community. So my question is, are these grants accessible for our youth, for our newcomers that are very interested in arts and culture?
I mean, in terms of our grants programs, they're open to different artists. So I mean, I'm not familiar. That will be a question for Mitch Menchaca, which is the arts and culture director. But we do in our mission in terms of what we approved, and we have a grants process every year, and many different organizations, including anybody, can apply who have who support the mission of the arts in the city of Phoenix. And I really thank you for asking for that. I realize you're from LA, somos paisanos. So I'm from LA too, so there's some LA love. So I really appreciate. I wanted to actually, so I really thank you for picking up on this, and hopefully that you, along with your colleagues, can support. And I know that Dev is supportive of our mission as well. So thank you.
Definitely. And anything that we can do to be helpful, it's always, with the pandemic, there's not much that our youth can do these days, but whatever help you may need in terms of getting our youth involved, maybe from the different schools, let us know and we'd be more than happy to help out.
I'm also a teacher, so
Nice.
that's definitely, I'm an elementary school teacher. So I actually work in District 7, so it's like neighboring. So I'm very familiar with District 5 in the Maryville area. So, but yeah, we'll definitely connect. Thank you very much.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jamie De La Mora. Jamie, are you on the line? Jamie? You may be muted, Jamie.
Quizás está silenciado su micrófono.
Jamie?
¿Se encuentra en la línea?
Okay. Then our next speaker would be, it looks as though Jamie's not on the line. Our next speaker is Tiffany Avila. Tiffany, are you on the line?
¿Se encuentra en la línea, Tiffany?
Sí.
Please proceed.
Yes.
Sí.
Puede proseguir. Adelante, señora.
Ok, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Tiffany Avila. Y,
Hello, good afternoon or good evening. My name is Tiffany Avila.
Me da gusto estar aquí y pues mi comentario es que pues no queremos que den más dinero a la policía, no queremos que pongan las 75 nuevas posiciones del departamento a la policía. Nosotros ya no confiamos en la policía, no necesitamos vigilancia de la policía, nosotros necesitamos soluciones que en verdad hagan seguras nuestras vidas. La policía no es seguridad para nosotros, solo nos trae más problemas y no soluciones. Y necesitamos que inviertan nuestro dinero en nuestras necesidades que tenemos como comunidad. Necesitamos más transportación gratis para todas las gentes, las personas. Necesitamos centros de rehabilitación para todas las personas con adicciones en el oeste de Phoenix principalmente. Y apoyamos la nueva unidad de crisis de salud mental, pero queremos que no quiten nuestro dinero del fondo de la policía para poner los recursos. Eso estamos pidiendo y pienso que dar más dinero a la policía no es la solución. Gracias.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me provide my comments here. I'm asking no more money to the police. These 75 new positions for the police department is not what I want. We don't trust the police. They're not taking care of us. We want solutions. They're not safe for us. They're just providing more problems to us. And we want there to be more investment, our money to be invested in the community. We need more free transportation. We need a rehab center in the west side of Phoenix. There's people with addictions. And so something like a mental health crisis program would be of great help. So don't take our money and give it to the police. That's what we ask for. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Jennifer Hernandez. Jennifer, are you on the line? Jennifer, I think you may be muted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Oh, okay, awesome. Good afternoon, public, to everybody. Guardado. Just want to start off with letting you know that we have been asking for these meetings to be virtually accessible to our community, and it seems like you hate us at this point because today was virtually impossible to access this meeting, and me, who has been doing this for years, couldn't even access it, and I highly doubt that anyone else who's first time doing this would get overwhelmed and leave, and I feel like that's exactly what y'all want. With that being said, if more than 50% of our money didn't go to the police, y'all would be able to afford a better system. I am here today as a young brown mother of a 6-year-old daughter to remind you again and again that the Phoenix police arrest thousands of people every year for marijuana positions, and lately even kill people of color for minor positions or minor crimes. Now that marijuana is legal, arrests by Phoenix police must decrease by several thousands arrests per year, meaning that they should cut the number of officers employed by the department and reallocate that money to free public transportation and bus-only lanes. Why? Because our students, our youth in this community have to pay when sometimes we don't even have $1 to spare. And so we are already not giving anything to transportation. So therefore we are asking for free transportation and all. We need resources for rehabilitation, for addiction and substance abuse. And as y'all have said again and again,
y'all care so much about homeless people, then show us your shelter and housing support and take all of this money and divest it from police and reinvest in our community. Again, you should give us more time to speak, because when we are being translated into Spanish, it is very hard for the translator, who sometimes does not do a good job to really translate what we want to say. And yeah, I yield my time.
Our next speaker, I believe, Viridiana Hernandez Rita, was able to join. So, Viridiana, are you on the line?
Yes, but I don't think the last comment was translated. Can that happen?
It was being translated into Spanish, I believe, on the Spanish line.
Okay, well, we have a group of people here, and the translation, I think we were waiting for the comment to finish so they can do the translation, because we were hearing the call in English and Spanish here.
Matt, for the record, this is Mario Barajas. The Spanish line is being interpreted for.
Okay, thank you, Mario. Well, we didn't hear it, so I will, if I can translate myself, that I would appreciate that.
So you would like to make your comments in both English and Spanish?
Yeah.
Please proceed.
Okay. Thank you. And sorry, just before my time starts again, just echoing, a lot of people were not able to sign on and sign in. I wasn't able to until just about a few minutes ago. The link was down, and I don't think there was an announcement made for people that are waiting. So I think it just got fixed. But again, it was been really frustrating. And then some people that switched to call over the phone, they had to call and re-register, and it's been a really hard process. We tried working, I feel like we were doing part of y'all's job in getting this information out, and it has been hard to get the accommodations necessary so that the community can participate. So just, I wanted to name that today. The link was down and hasn't been working. But with that, I'll start my comments. Yeah, so we're calling again to say that we don't want any more of our money to go to the police department. You all just gave the police department a raise on top of everything that has been happening. We know that more training is not going to stop this deadly department if you're not doing consequences and accountability to the department. So y'all just gave a raise to the police with no accountability, with no transparency. And we're demanding that no more of our money goes into this department. That means no to these 75 civilian positions. Those positions are not necessary to be in the department. Yes, we want public records. We work with families who plead you all and the police for their son's police report of how they were killed. We have families who are 2 years in and still have not received any information about the investigations and what happened in those investigations. So yes, we want public records, but those public record positions need to live in the city clerk's office or in other offices, not within the police, because they do everything to continue to hide. So no to those 75 positions. The $15 million for the mental health crisis, if this mental health crisis goes forward, needs to come from the police. This money is being taken from our surplus, needs to come from the police department, because they are reducing that would reduce their job, that would reduce their workload, that would reduce their calls, and that should reduce their budget. And so those $15 million needs to come from the police. And then that'll open up to some of the demands that families are saying. We want a rehabilitation and substance abuse services in West Phoenix. We want free transportation and bus-only lanes, and want to know what is the plan to do that. And so I want to know what also the plan is to create this unit of the crisis response, because right now, trusting the city manager to just do whatever they want with that is not acceptable. And I will translate in Spanish. Al principio solamente todo estaba hablando de qué tan difícil ha sido accesar esta junta. Y a mí me tomó varios tiempo, hasta apenas que pude accesar. Pero también a los mensajes queremos dar hoy. Estamos exigiendo que no más de nuestro dinero se vaya a la policía. Este departamento es uno de los más mortíferos en Estados Unidos y al contrario, a pesar de la violencia, no están, les están dando más dinero. Apenas hace 2 semanas les dieron un aumento a todos sus policías sin consecuencias, sin transparencia, sin nada que, a cambio, ¿verdad? Entonces, ya no más de nuestro dinero a este departamento. Estamos exigiendo que estas 75 posiciones no se vayan otra vez al departamento. Hay posiciones ahí que sí necesitamos, ¿verdad? Como el acceso a récords de la policía, pero este departamento le niega a las familias que sus hijos han matado. Hay familias que llevan meses esperando un reporte. Hay familias que ahorita llevan 2, 3, 4 años y todavía no han recibido las investigaciones de este departamento. Sí, queremos esas investigaciones, queremos esos reportes, pero eso puede vivir en la Secretaría de la Ciudad, no en el Departamento de Policía. Y también ese dinero, incluyendo, ¿verdad? Ahorita hay una propuesta de $15 millones que puede ir a nuestra comunidad. Pero lo quieren quitar de nuestros fondos generales. Queremos que se quite de la policía, porque esta crisis, esta unidad va a reducir llamadas de la policía, que va a reducir su trabajo, que significa que tiene que reducir su presupuesto. Con eso es lo que exigimos. Y aparte, como dijeron, transportación gratis. Y esos son mis comentarios.
Our next speaker is Linda Abeg. Linda, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Councilmember Guardado, and I appreciate you guys being here again to listen. And I'm here to request that you add $156,000 to this year's budget for the maintenance of the park at 55th Avenue in Samantha. This park is really needed to support the immense growth in Laveen and increase the green space in an area rapidly losing farmland to pavement. We've been asking for this to be in the budget for 3 budget cycles. I appreciate all the time and effort that has been taken to allow constituents to say what they want their tax money to be spent on, both regarding this park and other issues. We've heard people as young as 5 all the way through seniors at these meetings, trusting that you as leaders are sincere when you say citizen feedback is valued. We are optimistic that when we see the final budget, that it will reflect what's been said in these meetings. Mr. Barton, you mentioned at the beginning of the meeting that there are often changes to the trial budget after this hearing process. Can you tell me if there will be a way for us to see the effects of the public input? Like, can the city create a list of revisions that were made due to public feedback?
Excuse me. Every year when we go back on the city manager's budget, we do a detailed city manager's report. That report shows the changes. It highlights the changes that we make from the trial budget. It also summarizes all of the comments that we get throughout the hearing process, as well as those that come in electronically, as well as those that come in through email and other measures through the Budget and Research Department. So if you go back and historically look at the city manager's budget that is presented after the trial budget, you will see how it is highlighted the changes that get made. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Inez. Inez, are you on the line? It does not appear as though Inez is on the line, so then we'll go to Stephanie Gentry. Stephanie, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the line. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
I pretty much agree with everything that the people before me has said. Obviously, no money towards the police. But something that hasn't been brought up that I've just been really curious about is I am a mother. I have 3 kids, and I was wondering if there was any way or any plans, I guess, to include any type of childcare in this budget, because that is something that a lot of people that I know at least have been affected with COVID. I did see the draft budget, and I didn't see anything like that included on there. So that was just a point that I wanted to bring up, as if the city was planning on doing anything in terms of childcare. Yeah, that's it. I yield my time.
In response to that, what I would offer to you is very shortly, based on conversations I've had with the elected officials, including Councilwoman Guardado, as we start to roll out the next phase of our COVID-related funds, that is definitely something that many of the council members have expressed to me that they would like to see done with the COVID dollars.
Jeff, and just a question for you. I know that we've had this conversation a lot, and I know that we're increasing funding for what we already have in place. Can you explain that a little bit?
As far as what, Councilwoman?
As far as the help that we already give, I know that we are giving out more vouchers this year.
Correct. So last year, we did receive the $293 million in coronavirus relief funds. Through that program, we ran our rent, mortgage, and utility assistance program, in which you allocated about $27 million to a variety through the City of Phoenix, as well as through our third-party nonprofits via Wildfire. We also currently are doing a $51 million emergency rent assistance program that we're also working with Wildfire on that, some half going outside through that agency and half being administered through the city. And within the next 30 days or so, we'll be getting another $416 million from the federal government. And so with that program, we will be talking to the council within the next few weeks about options and opportunities to fund additional community assistance programs, everything from business assistance to arts assistance to, again, child care assistance have been things that we've been talking about and hearing about, as well as, again, looking for opportunities for assisting some of our youth leagues that have also suffered as a result of COVID. After school programs, as parents also now have to go back to work and trying to find ways to get to work and still take care of their children. So again, we will be having a very broad list of things for the council to consider as we roll out the next phase of our COVID dollars.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Our next speaker is Marta. Marta, are you on the line? It does not appear as though Marta's on the line, so then our next speaker.
I'm sorry, Matt. So can we, the folks that are not, that we're saying that are not on the line, can we just keep a list of those folks and then hopefully get someone to try to get a hold of them? Because it sounds like they're having a challenging time. It sounds like the system broke down and they had a hard time being able to log back in. So I am a little concerned about that. Given that there's people that know how to do it and have had a hard time to log in. So if we can just have someone figure out a way to try and see how we can bring those people on, just because if people have been waiting to speak, I think it is important to try to do whatever we can to try to get them on the line.
Councilwoman Guardado, I'll let Amber talk about what actually transpired at the beginning of this hearing. There was a technical issue, but we do, and Matt, as we did this on Saturday at your hearing, so we can circle back through with the folks that were not on the line and see if they're on the line at the end of this, but I'll let Amber address what happened at the beginning of the hearing.
Thank you, Jeff.
Perfect. Thank you.
Councilwoman Guardado, yes, at the very beginning of the hearing, on our website at www.phoenix.gov/budget/hearings, the link to the WebEx wasn't working for a moment, and IT staff looked at that, and then they were able to get it back populated onto our website. The WebEx link was available on the hearing information page. That link was working. It was just the red button that's on the website was not working for a few minutes right before the hearing began, and that's why some people had a problem accessing that link. If you called into the hearing, that was accessible, both for calling in, as Mario had stated at the beginning of the hearing, using the phone number to call in and entering that meeting ID if you wanted to hear the hearing interpreted in Spanish, or entering the meeting ID if you wanted to hear the meeting in English. So the phone and lines have been working the entire time. It was just the WebEx link on our website, but that is now working. So we apologize for any inconvenience with that.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Let's just try to do what we usually do, is try to circle back with folks. Maybe not at the end, but maybe throughout, after we hear a couple of people, try and figure out if those people get back on, because they've been waiting for a long time.
Councilwoman, yes, I'll work with our IT folks, and as they join, I will circle back to them. should they
Perfect.
be watching and join right now, knowing that the link is working.
Sounds great. Thank you.
And our next speaker is William Escobar. William, it does not appear as though William's on the line. So then our next speaker would be Maxinino Hernandez. Maxinino? Okay, it does not appear as though Maxinino is on the line. So our next speaker would be Amy Espoyesto. Amy, are you on the line? Okay, it does not appear as though Amy's on the line. So our next speaker would be Ines Leno. Ines, are you on the line? Okay, it does not appear as though Ines is on the line. So next we will go to Tina Luna. Tina, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm on the line. Thank you. And just to let everybody know, I think the link was down for more than just a minute. And I tried to get in through both ways, the WebEx and the link from the email and directly from the website. And I've attended many meetings and it was almost impossible. I almost gave up, but I kept trying, and it took about almost half an hour that I was able to get in. So what I wanted to talk about was
Tina, can you hold on a second? Matt, can you restart her time, please?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. So I want to I don't live in Phoenix, but I work in Phoenix and spend a lot of time there. But I just want to reiterate what the other folks have been saying about the budget and for taking the money from the police budget and putting it to the for the community. Since the marijuana is going to be legalized, and I agree with all of the stuff about there should be less policing because there's going to be less things that are illegal. But I wanted to focus mostly on something that's really near and dear to me, and that's transportation. And I live far away from Phoenix, so I do take public transportation. It's very, very expensive. And I know it's very prohibitive for a lot of people. And I think that some of the programs that they were talking about the art programs and the libraries and reaching out to the community. And I think the number one thing that would really help people would be free transportation. And I looked up the Metro Valley budget, and the money that they get from fares, the revenue from fares, is not even $10 million. So actually paying for people to have free transportation does not cost that much money. In fact, the actual revenue for FY20, because of COVID, of course, it went way down to like 3 million. And then their projected revenue for next year for FY21, well, actually it's the year we're in now, is like 5 million. So it's just such a small amount that I think it's really doable, and I think it would really help homeless, kids, seniors, everybody. So anyway, thank you so much for letting me speak. And Councilwoman, thanks for being so sensitive to the people who haven't been able to log in, and hopefully you'll be able to reach out to them and get their comments also. Okay, thank you so much.
Our next speaker is Ramon Gomez. Ramon, are you on the line? Ramon?
Hello?
Hello, please proceed.
Okay, thank you. Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having the meeting this evening. I also had problems. I did call the 602 number, and they answered and guided me on how to log in, so that worked out for me. I know it was frustrating, but we got it. We got through. I'm calling today. I'm a member of District 8, resident of Lavina, Arizona, off the Paseo Point subdivision. I've been here 6 years. When I first bought the property here, it was the last phase of the building here in this section. The empty lot for the school was there. The empty lot for the park was there. And they let us know that they were going to build a school, a park, and the 202. As of now, the 202 is up and running, bringing a lot of business, even more property owners south of Dobbins. I live right next to Dobbins and 55th Avenue, and it's getting jam-packed back there with houses, which is good. Growth is good, right? That's what we want to see. And the only downfall now is that the eyesore of this community, which is beautiful, and I'm proud of being in Lavine and living in Phoenix. So it's that one lot that's an eyesore. There's weeds growing, it's not maintained, and it could be put to better use as a park in 55th Avenue and Samantha Way. A few weeks ago, there was a Play 60 event on the school, which is right next door to the lot. And they were having the events in the field. The field was jam-packed with kids, parents, and the participants. I think that if that park would have been built, it could have been better used by having, split up some of the kids and parents going over to that field so that they weren't so jam-packed trying to get. If you looked at it, you would have seen that there was something wrong with that picture. So I'm just saying that would have been beneficial. But yeah, it's growing a lot, and please keep that in mind. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Our next speaker is Nancy Torres. Nancy, are you on the line?
¿Sí me encuentro? Yes, I'm on the line.
Please proceed.
Ok, puede proceder. Ok. Estoy de acuerdo con todos los demás comentarios. Necesitamos invertir en nuestra comunidad y ayudar a quien más lo necesita en estos tiempos tan difíciles, como el transporte gratuito, ayuda para centros de rehabilitación para todas las personas con adicciones en el oeste de Phoenix, y apoyo para apoyo la unidad de crisis de salud mental y que haya menos fondos para la policía.
Gracias. I am in agreement with the rest of everyone that has been commented thus far. I feel that more monies should go towards helping those that need the help. For example, free transportation, more rehab facilities in the West Side to help those with substance abuse, addictions, also helping those with mental health services, and also no funds to go to the police.
Our next speaker is Alex Rodriguez. Alex, it appears as though Alex is not on the line, so our next speaker would be Ana Oravaco. Ana, are you on the line? It appears as though Ana is not on the line. So our next speaker would be Correma Samaniega Ochoa. Correma, are you on the line?
Yes, can y'all hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Hi, my name is Coraima, and I'm 18 years old. I'm here to speak on why I oppose the budget. So there have been lots of deaths at the hands of the police department that you've been defunding, and I'm scared for me and my family, as well as the community that I live in, which are mainly Black and brown folks. Instead, you could be funding things like mental health resources as well as resources for addiction and substance abuse. I know of many people my age that develop mental health issues because their parents struggle with addictions. And many people my age also develop these addictions as well. I honestly can't even name a place where people can go to get help with these issues. In my community, I've never heard or seen of any resources that could help us. So I'm here to demand you to fund these resources instead of funding the police, who are even sometimes the cause of these mental illnesses, aside from the substance abuse and addictions. Um, and that's all I have to say for right now. Thank you.
Our next speaker would be Gladiela Lopez Felix. Gladiela, are you on the line?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Yes, I would like to translate for myself as well. Before I get started, I do want to say I agree that these hearings need to be a lot more accessible to our communities. After a whole year in the pandemic, there's really no excuse at this point. So really just get it together. But anyway, if this crisis response program is implemented, that money must come from the police department, not from the surplus. Phoenix residents have to consistently ask for necessities that should be considered the bare minimum, such as free and accessible public transportation, resources for mental health, substance abuse rehabilitation. Meanwhile, one of the most racist and violent police departments in the nation is consistently being overfunded and under-disciplined. It's pathetic. Phoenix PD does not keep us safe. The surplus needs to go to our community needs and safety. The crisis response team would reduce the number of calls that police respond to, so there's really no reason for that money to stay with the police department. It should pay for the crisis response program, so the surplus should be reallocated. Also, now that marijuana is legal, arrests by Phoenix police should decrease by several thousands arrests per year. So cut the number of officers employed by the department and reallocate that money to free public transportation and bus-only lanes, resources for addiction and substance abuse, a rehabilitation center, low barrier shelter, and housing support. Now continue in Spanish. Voy a empezar diciéndoles que estoy de acuerdo con las personas que han hablado anteriormente, que estas audiencias deben de ser mucho más fáciles y accesibles para nuestra comunidad. Ya hemos pasado un año en una pandemia, eso ya no les da excusa. Estoy de acuerdo de nuevo que si se implementa el programa de respuestas para crisis, el dinero debe de ser prohibido por la policía, no del superávit. Los residentes de Phoenix piden constantemente necesidades que deben de considerarse mínimas, como transporte público y gratuito y accesible, recursos para la salud mental, rehabilitación por abuso de sustancias. Mientras tanto, uno de los departamentos de policías más racistas y violentos de la nación recibe constantemente nuestro dinero en exceso y casi nada de disciplina. Es patético. El departamento de policía de Phoenix no protege a nuestros residentes. El excedente debe de ir a las necesidades y la seguridad de nuestra comunidad. El equipo de respuesta a crisis reducirá la cantidad de llamadas a las que respondería la policía. No hay razón para que ese dinero se quede en el departamento de policía. Debe de pagar el programa de respuestas a la crisis y los fondos excedentes deben reasignarse. También, ahora que la marihuana es legal, los arrestos de parte de la policía de Phoenix se deberían disminuir por varios de miles de arrestos cada año. Así que reduzcan la cantidad de oficiales empleados por el departamento y reasignen este dinero a transporte público y gratuito y carriles exclusivos para autobuses, recursos para adicciones y uso de sustancias, centros de rehabilitaciones y refugio de barrera baja y apoyo a la vivienda. Gracias.
Councilwoman, I just wanted to let you know, I checked with our IT staff, and the folks that were not on have not rejoined, but we will continue to look. We have several people signed up under one phone number, so I was going to begin with that, and then we would bring in people as they join in the middle of that, if that's all right.
Sounds great. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome. So our next speaker is Martha Avadano. Martha, are you on the line?
Avadano, ¿se encuentra en la línea?
Martha, are you on the line?
Marta, ¿se encuentra en la
Yes,
línea?
un momento, por favor.
Yes, just one moment, please.
Bueno. Hola, mi nombre es Marta Avadano.
Hello, my name is Marta Avendano.
Please proceed.
Pertenezco al distrito 7 de Phoenix.
I
Mi
am,
comentario de hoy, quiero decir que no queremos que se le den más dinero a la policía. No queremos que pongan los 75 nuevas posiciones al departamento de la policía. Nosotros ya no confiamos en ellos. Nosotros necesitamos soluciones que en verdad hagan seguras a nuestras vidas en la comunidad. Necesitamos que inviertan nuestro dinero en nuestras necesidades que tenemos como comunidad. Necesitamos transportación gratis para toda la comunidad y un centro de rehabilitación para todas las personas con adicciones en el oeste de Phoenix.
I am from District 7, and I would like to support with no funds to the police. I would say no to the 75 new positions opening up for the police. We don't trust them. We need real solutions to keep our communities safe. And I feel the monies should be invested in the real community needs, such as free transportation for the community and more substance abuse and rehabilitation centers.
Our next speaker would be Josefina Hernandez. Josefina, are you on the line?
Josefina, ¿se encuentra en la línea?
No se encuentra.
No, she's not on the line.
Our next speaker would be Noemi Garcia.
Nuestra siguiente oradora sería Amy García. Noemi García.
Noemi. Hola, buenas tardes.
Hello, good afternoon.
Mi nombre es Noemi. Gracias por darme la oportunidad de estar aquí. Yo como mamá me gustaría que nuestro dinero se invirtiera en nuestra comunidad. No más dinero para la policía. Me gustaría que pudieran hacer un centro de rehabilitación para nuestros jóvenes, mejores programas en nuestras escuelas para nuestros jóvenes. Muchas gracias.
Okay, my name is Noemi. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. And as a mom, I would like the monies to go towards our community. I don't support more funds to go towards the police. I feel the money should go to more rehab centers to help our younger members of the community. Also to have better programs in schools for our children. Thank you very much.
And if I could go back to one of our English speakers, Catherine Gutierrez. Catherine, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay, thank you for taking the time to hear public comment today. I did want to also echo what some of the other people said earlier. I did also have trouble logging into the hearing. I would also ask that we divest some money from the Phoenix Police Department, which has continued to terrorize our communities. And I think we can see from the recent killing of Dante Wright in Minnesota that additional training with an officer that's trained over 20 years can still shoot and kill someone. And so that's just not going to be the solution anymore. And I would ask that I also support the request for free transportation and also housing support for homeless people, especially low barrier housing, low barrier shelters, especially for those. I know this isn't a very popular opinion, but people who are registered sex offenders, there's just really not housing and low enough barrier housing for people who are using, people with mental health illness. And we really just need to be able to shelter people to be able to, move them on to the next step. And I really hope that we can do some things to help our community. I am a homeowner in the community, and thank you for taking the time to hear our comments today.
And our next speaker is Elodia Reyes. Elodia, are you on the line?
Elodia se encuentra en la línea.
Bueno,
Elodia?
Sí, buenas tardes. Sí.
Yes.
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es
Good
Elodia
afternoon.
Avila y estoy aquí para pedirles que por favor ya no les den más dinero a la policía, ya que nosotros necesitamos muchos recursos, las comunidades. Por ejemplo, en el Distrito 5 nosotros tenemos un parque en donde no hay juegos para los niños, constantemente hay violencia en ese parque, tenemos muchas balazuelas ahí en mi comunidad, se llama la policía, nunca llegan, luego llegan quieren robar en nuestras casas. Entonces nosotros lo que queremos es que los fondos sean destinados a centros de rehabilitación, a transporte público, a más seguridad en nuestras comunidades, ya que realmente lo necesitamos, porque no tenemos seguridad de salir en las tardes. Siempre hay muchos indigentes por ahí que nos roban, nos abren los carros, y entonces necesitamos que la señora Betty Guardado, por favor, ponga más atención en ese asunto, en seguridad y más áreas verdes de nuestras comunidades del Distrito 5. Muchas gracias.
My name is Elodia, and I would like for no more funds to go to the police. I feel that money needs to go to more needs of the community. I live in District 5, and although we do have a park in the area, there's no really anything that the kids can play with there. In fact, there's a lot of crime that takes place there. There's a lot of a sense of insecurity. There's a lot of people breaking into homes. I feel that the money could be invested in rehab centers and in free public transportation, and also more safety overall. In the afternoons, we can't go out without, seeing some of the homeless people trying to approaching us or trying to steal somehow. So I hope that Councilmember Guardado pays more attention to this and focuses on more safety for our community, because we need it, and we also need more green spaces in our District 5. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Juana Rita. Juana, are you on the line?
Juana.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Juana.
Hello, my name is Juana.
Estoy aquí también para pedir, bueno, primero que nada, gracias por la oportunidad que me están dando de hablar. Y lo que sí yo quiero pedir también es que tengamos mejor transporte público, que podamos tener un centro de salud para jóvenes y personas mayores en adicciones. Pero quiero exigir que también ese dinero sea quitado del presupuesto de la policía. La policía no es seguridad para nosotros en nuestras comunidades. Solo vienen y matan a nuestros jóvenes, nuestra gente. Entonces no queremos que den más dinero a la policía y que tampoco abran esas 75,000 nuevas posiciones de la policía. Como les dije, la policía no es seguridad para nosotros en nuestras comunidades. Así que sí pido, por favor, si pueden tomar en cuenta nuestras peticiones como miembros de la comunidad. Yo soy del Distrito 5, sé que Betty Guardado también pertenece a este distrito, y de a ti, Betty, directamente te lo pido, porque tú dijiste que ibas a ayudar a nuestras comunidades. Tú dijiste que ibas a estar al pendiente de que tuviéramos una vida saludable aquí en Maryville. Y eso es todo, que no venga de otro presupuesto que no sea de la policía, por favor. Gracias.
My name is Juana, and first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak today. And I would like to ask for more monies to go towards free transportation for young people and people overall that are suffering addictions. And I would like no more funds to go to the police. The police have killed our young people and our people in general. And I'm opposed to the 75 new positions in the police department. We don't feel that they make our communities any safer. And that is my petition. I hope that you listen to that. I am in District 5, and Betty Guardado, I ask you directly to, you promised that we were going to keep our community safer. And I would like to know that the monies should come from the monies that were designated to go to the police and nowhere else. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Yeslia Perez.
Nuestra siguiente oradora. I'm sorry, can you repeat the name, please?
Yes, it was Yeslia Perez.
Yes. Thank you. Valleslía Pérez. Disculpe la demora. Valleslía Pérez, ¿se encuentra?
No está presente.
She's not present.
Our next speaker would be Ana Maria. Ana, are you on the line?
La siguiente sería Ana María. ¿Se encuentra en la línea?
Sí, señorita, buenas tardes.
Yes, good afternoon.
Please proceed.
Bueno, mi nombre es Ana María Herrera, mi código postal es 85009. Pues, estoy hablando por la razón de que no queremos más dinero para la policía.
¿Alguna otra cosa que quisiera agregar?
Sí, necesitamos ese dinero para jóvenes que se rehabiliten, para que pongan un centro de rehabilitación, porque los jóvenes lo necesitan. Están en adicciones y necesitamos que ellos se rehabiliten. También quiero pedirles, por favor, no más dinero de nuestros bolsillos para la policía. Necesitamos que la transportación sea gratis. Necesitamos también que limpien los callejones. Hay mucha basura. necesitamos también que paguen a personas para que los limpien. Necesitamos muchas cosas y ustedes se dan cuenta que nosotros estamos pagando de nuestro bolsillo para la policía y no lo valoran ellos. ¿Por qué? Porque en lugar de que ayuden, miedo les tenemos. Y es una exigencia que nosotros pedimos, que ya no más dinero, por favor, para la policía. Gracias.
My name is Ana Maria, and I'm from Herrera, and I'm from area code, or zip code, 85009. And I would like to say I would like no more funds to go to the police. The money needs to go to our young people that are trying to overcome addiction. We need more centers, rehab centers. We need them to get better, rehabilitated. No more money to go to the police. We need that money to go towards free transportation, to hiring more people to clean our alleys because they have a lot of trash. They need to be cleaned up. And also, no more money to go towards the police. We don't feel that they are there to help us. We're actually afraid of them. And again, I would like no more money to go towards the police.
Our next speaker is Adriana Volorio. Adriana, are you on the line?
Adriana se encuentra en la línea. Adriana Volorio.
Sí, aquí estoy.
Yes, I'm here on the line.
Me llamo Adriana, vivo en Phoenix.
My name is Adriana and I live in Phoenix.
Código postal 80031. Necesitamos que invierta nuestro dinero en nuestras necesidades que tenemos como comunidad. Necesitamos transportación gratuita para todos, un centro de rehabilitación para todas las personas con adicciones en el oeste de Phoenix. Y apoyamos la nueva unidad de crisis de salud mental, pero queremos que quiten nuestro dinero del fondo de la policía para los recursos que estamos pidiendo. Queremos que haya acción en lo que pedimos, no palabras, sino hechos. Muchas gracias.
Okay, I am from zip code 85031, and I would like for the monies to be invested in the needs of the community. Free transportation for all, and more rehabilitation centers on the west side to help those with addiction. I am also in favor of mental health centers, and I would like the money or the funds that are projected to go to the police to go toward the needs that I just expressed. We need actions, not just words. Thank you.
I just wanted to take a moment to step in and let you know we are still checking for individuals who were unable to join earlier.
Quiero tomarme un momento breve para regresar.
Thanks, Matt.
Our next speaker.
Nuestro siguiente orador.
Our next speaker would be Sonia V. Sonia?
Sonia V. Sonia, ¿se encuentra en la línea?
¿Este nombre de Sonia tiene apellido?
The name of Sonia, does it have a last name that you have there?
It was the letter V.
Nada más teníamos la letra V de Víctor. Sonia V con V chica.
Okay, es Sonia Velázquez.
Okay, it's Sonia Velázquez.
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Sonia Velázquez y una vez más doy gracias por la oportunidad de poder pedir o exigir que no se vaya más fondo a la policía porque hay tantas necesidades en nuestras comunidades. Es triste ver cómo hay tanta gente sin hogar, con adicciones en las calles y falta en educación, en centros de rehabilitación, en más transportación gratuita. De verdad necesitamos que haya más sensibilidad y apoyo para la comunidad. De verdad que es impresionante ver cuántas personas pedimos este grito de auxilio para que actúen de verdad y ya basta de tanta violencia de la policía para nuestras personas. Es triste y hay tantas necesidades que necesitan suplirse en esta ciudad de Phoenix. Gracias.
And my apologies, I had accidentally marked that Maria Gutierrez had already spoken, but I believe we have not called on her.
Creo que teníamos a María Gutiérrez que todavía no le habíamos hablado, pero eso le llamaremos en un momento de nuevo. My name is Sonia Velázquez, and I thank you for the opportunity to give my comment today, and I demand for no more funds to go to the police. There's a lot of needs that our community has, and it's really sad to see the number of people that have no homes, that are suffering from addiction, that are out on the streets. There's a lack of education. We need more rehab centers. We need free transportation. And there needs to be more sensitivity and support towards the needs of our community. It is time that you hear our cry. And this is very sad to see. A lot of us, a lot of the needs that our community has and the support that it needs to come from the funds that were designated to go to the police. Thank you.
So I will call next on Maria Gutierrez.
Siguiente en la línea es María Gutiérrez.
Sí, aquí estoy presente.
Yes, I am here.
Okay, hola, buenas tardes. Pues mi nombre es María Gutiérrez y pues estoy aquí para exigir que no más dinero a la policía. Pertenezco al Distrito 7 en la ciudad de Phoenix y pues estoy aquí para eso, para exigir que no más dinero a la policía. Yo como voluntaria de la organización Poder en Acción estoy saliendo a las calles a tocar puertas y encuestando a nuestra ciudadanía, a nuestros residentes. Y es increíble el apoyo y lo que tenemos y lo que exigimos en común es eso, que no más dinero a la policía, que se enfoquen un poquito más en lo verdaderamente necesario. Si ustedes vieran el apoyo y lo que más nos ha impactado es el apoyo de decir que nuestros ciudadanos quieren nuestros impuestos en los hospitales de salud mental, piden a gritos centros de rehabilitación para nuestros jóvenes y la gente adulta en drogadicción. Entonces, estamos en la lucha y estamos alzando la voz por la gente que no se conecta, que no se comunica por temores, pero no más dinero a la policía, por favor. Gracias. Buenas tardes.
Hello, my name is Maria Gutierrez. Good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for the opportunity. I am from District 7, the city of Phoenix, and I demand no more monies to go to the police, no funds. I am a volunteer with Poder en Acción, and I've gone around the community knocking on doors, and what we have in common is the incredible support that we hear time and time again of the needs of the community. It's time to hear to the cry of the citizens. They're asking for rehab centers to help those with addiction, and we are here representing those, being a voice for those that are afraid to call. And I demand for no more funds to go to the police.
Our next speaker is Alma Chavez. Alma, are you on the line?
Alba se encuentra en la línea. Alba Chávez. Alba Chávez.
It appears as though Alma Chavez is not on the line.
Parece que es Alma Chávez. ¿Se encuentra en la línea?
No, la próxima persona es Israel.
No, the next person is
Alma Olvera.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Our next speaker is Alma Olvera.
Alma Olvera.
No, no se encuentra.
Alma Olvera.
No se encuentra.
Alma's not on the line.
Our next speaker is Ethel Moreno.
Ethan Moreno. Israel Moreno.
Muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Israel. Soy residente de esta ciudad de Phoenix, Arizona. Agradezco la oportunidad a este consejo que nos da la comunidad para participar en esta sesión. De hecho, queremos manifestar que el presupuesto que se tiene por aprobar para la policía nos resulta muy elevado. Pedimos de la sensibilidad de ustedes y la comprensión para que ese presupuesto sea reducido y el monto sea dirigido a otras actividades. Requerimos en esta ciudad de centros de rehabilitación para nuestros jóvenes, personas que se están involucrando en las drogas. También es necesario que la transportación siga siendo gratis como cuando estuvo en la pandemia del COVID. Este tipo de acciones, ustedes pueden cambiar su mentalidad y el presupuesto a favor de la comunidad. Es por ello que agradecemos que nos den la participación y pues esperamos que nuestra solicitud sean aprobadas para beneficio de nuestra comunidad. Muchas gracias.
Okay, my name is Israel and I'm a resident of the city of Phoenix. and I thank the council for this opportunity to participate in this hearing. I would like to manifest that the budget that is going towards the police is too high. I would ask for you to be more sensitive and understanding for the majority of the funds to go towards other needs of the community, such as rehabilitation centers for our young people that are getting into drugs. We also ask for free transportation to continue that just like it was during COVID time. We also ask that you make these changes in favor of the community. And again, we thank you for the opportunity to share today. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Hector Garcia.
El siguiente orador es Hector Garcia.
Presente.
Hola.
I'm here.
Sí, mi nombre es Héctor. Buenas noches. Básicamente estoy aquí para exigir estas demandas, no más presupuesto a la policía, que los 75 nuevos puestos que no vayan que no procedan. Hay otras necesidades en nuestra comunidad. Yo soy residente aquí de Phoenix con el código postal 85007 y veo muchas necesidades en la comunidad. Queremos que se implementen centros de rehabilitación para drogadicción y otras adicciones. También queremos que todo ese dinero que ustedes quieren canalizar a la policía sirvan más en otras áreas. Exigimos que nuestros impuestos sean proporcionados en otras áreas. Gracias. Buenas noches.
My name is Hector Garcia. Good evening. And I am here to demand no more funds to go to the police. And the 75 positions that they wanted to open, I am not in favor of that. I would not like that to be funded either. As a resident of Phoenix, I am from area code 85007, and I see the needs of my community. I feel we need to implement more rehab centers and to help treat substance abuse. And the funds that are planned to be allocated towards the police to be used in other areas. I demand that our taxes are used to go towards other needs. Thank you and good evening.
Our next speaker is Lore Valdez.
Siguiente orador es Lore Valdez.
Sí, buenas tardes. Yo pertenezco al distrito 7. Estoy completamente en un acuerdo que haya recursos y rehabilitación y adicción. En una ocasión yo llamé a la policía porque mi hijo estaba sufriendo de esquizofrenia y lo único que pasó que los oficiales llegaron y me mataron a mi hijo. Y yo dijo que de esos 15 millones de dólares les quiten a los policías de su presupuesto y que pasen a muchas ayudas que estamos nosotros ocupando. Porque lo único que está pasando que ustedes es como estarles pagando a los oficiales para que sigan ellos haciendo muchas maldades y que cuando uno marque el 911 se debe de preguntar si la persona tiene algún problema de salud mental, y así pueden ellos enviar personal capacitado y que hablen nuestro idioma y dejen de estar unidos también con la inmigración, porque lo único que están haciendo es nos están separando de nuestras familias. Y yo exijo y que se escuche nuestra voz, que no más dinero a los policías, porque hay muchas cosas en qué pueden ustedes invertirlos y no nomás estarles dando ese dinero a los policías que pertenece a nosotros también. Como nosotros como mexicanos hemos sufrido también de esa enfermedad del COVID, y pienso que nosotros también ocupamos de una ayuda, y tienen que quitarle a ellos de ese dinero que les están queriendo dar a ellos, porque también ese dinero es de nosotros. Y yo eso es lo que exijo, y que se escuche nuestra voz y que no nos juzguen, porque nosotros, donde quiera que vamos, pagamos también presupuesto, donde quiera estamos pagando dinero también en todas las tiendas, y no es para que nada más les estén dando a ellos dinero, porque también nosotros ocupamos de una ayuda, y hay muchas personas que ocupan para centros de rehabilitación, y como a uno dejan dañado también de la muerte de nuestros hijos, nosotros también ocupamos de mucha ayuda, y en eso no se ponen a pensar ustedes de que ellos nos causan mucho daño. ¿Y qué hacen ustedes? No, yo quisiera saber qué fue lo que pasó con esos oficiales que le quitaron la vida a mi hijo. Yo nunca supe qué pasó, a lo mejor ellos nomás los descansaron y aún así les siguen pagando, y eso no está bien. Y yo quiero que se escuche nuestra voz y no más dinero. Es una vergüenza que ellos nomás lo único que hacen es discriminar a la gente, y es pura violencia, y ya no hay policías en mi vida. ¿Por qué? Porque ellos ya no son una seguridad para mí y para mis hijos. Gracias. Y espero que escuche mi voz.
My name is Lore Valdez. I am from District 7, and I am in favor of more rehab centers. And I want to share an incident. One time I called the police. My son was having a schizophrenia episode, and what the police turned around to do was kill my son. I demand that $15 million go towards the needs of the community and not to fund the police. Because what the police is, it's like paying the police to do evil, to continue to do evil towards us. Would like for the 911 to have a crisis line to be able to respond to these crisis calls and people that speak our language and not involve the immigration. No more funds should go to the police. As Mexicans, we also got COVID, and I demand that our voice be heard. We also pay taxes, and we feel we need the support. A lot of people also need rehab centers available. There's a lot of need, and also consideration and help for the families that have been victims of the violent acts of the police. I don't know what happened to the police officers that hurt my son. I don't know if they continue to get paid and they're still out there. It's an embarrassment that they continue to discriminate our people, and we don't feel safe. We want our voice to be heard. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Annabelle Gabino. Annabelle?
Nuestra siguiente oradora es Annabelle Gabino.
Presente.
I'm here.
Bueno, yo estoy aquí para hacerles saber que nos hace falta un tipo de organización que ayude a las personas que han sido abusadas física y moralmente por los policías, y que este dinero se saque del fondo de la policía. También que tengamos transportación gratis y pues que dejen de separar las familias y pues que migración ya no esté ahí en la policía. Y pues que sigan, que ayuden a la comunidad, sobre todo cuando uno hace llamadas, pues son de emergencia, pero tardan mucho en contestar también, y luego de repente pues no hay quien traduzca las llamadas en español, y entonces tarda la ayuda en llegar. También pues hacen falta centros de rehabilitación, porque pues hay muchos jóvenes y adultos con problemas de drogas. Gracias.
My name is Anabel Gavino, and I feel that we need centers or organizations where people can go that have suffered from physically and morally have been abused by the police. I feel we should take police funds and use it towards that. Also free transportation, and stop separating families for the police to stop working with immigration. We also need more 911 operators and interpreters, because what happens many times is that help is delayed for the lack of staff. We also need more rehab centers to help our young people and adults with substance abuse issues. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Gerardo Urbina.
Nuestro siguiente orador es Gerardo Urbina.
Presente.
I'm here.
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Gerardo Urbina. Primeramente agradecerla por la oportunidad que se nos da de poder opinar, de buscar soluciones. Lo principal es que no queremos ya más dinero para la policía. No queremos esas nuevas 75 posiciones, creemos que no es necesario. Nosotros no tenemos confianza en la policía. Nosotros pensamos que la policía solo trae más problemas y no soluciones. Necesitamos que inviertan nuestros impuestos en nuestras necesidades, aquí en la comunidad, como son centros de capacitación para trabajadores, centros de rehabilitación, transporte gratuito, centros de rehabilitación para todas las personas con adicciones en el oeste de Phoenix, y apoyamos la nueva unidad de crisis de salud mental. Pero queremos que quiten dinero nuestro del fondo de ayuda a la policía y ponga recursos donde nosotros pedimos, donde realmente se necesitan. De antemano, gracias, y espero que no sean solo palabras. Dios los bendiga.
My name is Gerardo Urbina. Good afternoon. I thank you for the opportunity to comment and to look for solutions. I would like for no more funds to go to the police. I don't feel that the 75 additional positions are necessary. In fact, they bring more problems, and we don't trust them. The money should be used towards job training facilities, rehab centers, especially in the West Valley, and free transportation for the community. Also, more mental health facilities. And I feel that our resources should go, or the money should go towards the things that the community really needs. And I hope that this was just not words. Thank you. Thank you and God bless.
Our next speaker is Concepcion Franco.
Mi siguiente oradora es Concepción Franco.
Sí, presente.
Yes, I'm here.
Muy buenas noches a todos. Damos gracias por este espacio, porque gracias a esto podemos expresar nuestras necesidades y hacer valer nuestros derechos como ciudadanos. Pues nuestra necesidad prioritaria es de que no queremos que se vaya más dinero a la policía, porque hay muchas necesidades en la comunidad, como el transporte público. Quisiéramos que fuera gratuito, porque hay mucha gente todavía en necesidad, que pareciera que no, pero hay mucha gente que todavía no tiene trabajo y no tienen cómo moverse, cómo transportarse a donde tengan que ir a hacer sus necesidades o a buscar simplemente trabajo. Esa es una de las necesidades muy, muy, muy importantes, creo yo, el transporte público gratis. Y también necesitamos en las comunidades que haya más centros de rehabilitación para que los jóvenes o todas las personas que estén en necesidad de que tengan que rehabilitarse de cualquier vicio que tengan, pues que haya oportunidad también para ellos. Ahora, pues nosotros estamos exigiendo solamente lo que son nuestros derechos. Nosotros esperamos y confiamos en ustedes de que van a ser sabios para poder organizar nuestro dinero. Y pues ahí está, y esperamos en Dios de que sea escuchada nuestra voz. Gracias.
Our next speaker is Nati.
Mi nombre es Concepción Franco. My name is Concepción Franco. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity and the space to be able to express our needs, to express our voice and our rights to be heard. Our primary request is no more funds to go towards the police. There are many needs in our community, such as free transportation, and it might not seem like a lot, but there's a lot of people out there that don't have a means of getting around. They don't have a job and don't have a way to go out there and look for a job. We need more rehab centers so that young people and anybody who needs it can have the opportunity to get sober and get the treatment that they need. We are demanding our rights, and we trust that you will be wise in administering our money. We hope in God that you hear our voice. Thank you and good evening.
My apologies for interrupting there. Our next speaker is Nati Moreno. Or it could be
Nati Moreno. ¿Se encuentra?
¿Presente? Buenas noches, mi nombre es Natividad Moreno, vivo en el distrito 7 en la comunidad de Meribeo. Yo doy primero gracias por darnos la oportunidad de expresarme y hacer peticiones. Pues yo no quiero que el dinero de mis impuestos vaya hacia la policía. Me gustaría que invirtieran ese dinero en comunidades más limpias y seguras, en centros de rehabilitación y capacitación para adultos y jóvenes que lo necesitan. También necesitamos hospitales de especialidades y clínicas a costos accesibles para nuestra comunidad, que no nos pidan tanto requisito para poder obtener cuidado de salud. También me gustaría que arreglaran las carreteras aquí en el West Phoenix, porque hay muchas carreteras que están con muchos hoyos que pueden provocar accidentes. Y bueno, es todo lo que quiero expresarme y gracias.
My name is Nati Moreno. I'm from District 7. I'm in the Maryvale area. And I demand for my tax dollars to not go towards the police. I'm not in favor of any funds to go towards the police. I feel that the money could be invested in other community needs, such as cleaner and safer spaces in our community. We also need centers and activity centers for our young people as well. We also have a need for clinics and other clinical specialties. We need our streets to be fixed. In the west side, we have a lot of potholes that can cause accidents. And that is all for me. Thank you. We will be switching interpreters. One moment, please.
Thank you.
Estaremos cambiando de intérpretes. Un momento, por favor.
Gracias.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Juan Lopez.
Nuestro siguiente orador va a ser Juan López.
Aquí estoy presente y mi nombre es Juan y pertenezco al distrito número 5. Nuestra proposición es: no queremos que den más dinero a la policía, no queremos que pongan las 75 nuevas posiciones al departamento de policía. Nosotros ya no confiamos en la policía, no necesitamos vigilancia de la policía. Nosotros necesitamos soluciones que en verdad hagan seguras nuestras vidas. La policía no es seguridad para nosotros, solo nos traen más problemas y no soluciones. Necesitamos que inviertan en nuestro dinero, en nuestras necesidades que tenemos como comunidad. Necesitamos transportación gratis para todos, un centro de rehabilitación para todas las personas con adicciones en el oeste de Phoenix, y apoyamos la nueva unidad de crisis de salud mental, pero queremos que quiten nuestro dinero del fondo de la policía para poner los recursos que estamos pidiendo. Muchas gracias.
Hello, my name is Juan Lopez, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity to present this to you. I belong to District 5. We no longer want more money to police. As far as the 75 new positions that would be going to the police, we don't want that. We don't trust the police. We want there to be more supervision We want safe. We want to be safe out in the community. We want our lives to be safe. And the police, we want them to care for us, to take care of us, because we don't feel safe. They just cause problems and they don't create the solutions. We need this money, these funds to go to the community. We need free transportation for all. We need that rehab center in West Phoenix. We support this new crisis program, and we just want to defund the police. We want those funds to be reinvested into the community. I thank you.
Our next speaker is Arturo.
Nuestro siguiente orador va a ser Arturo.
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
Mi nombre es Ana María Calderón.
My name is
soy
Ana María
miembro de la
Calderón.
comunidad. Especialmente esta noche les quiero dar gracias por estarnos escuchando, por escuchar nuestras necesidades, y espero que puedan apoyarnos y nos lleven a cabo nuestras necesidades. Como comunidad, especialmente, quiero expresar lo que siento y lo que pienso. Ahorita en el presupuesto que están dando para la policía, considero que es muy alto cuando nuestra comunidad tiene muchas necesidades en las cuales necesitan ese presupuesto, ese dinero. Principalmente pedimos apoyo para programas para niños y jóvenes, centros comunitarios, centros de rehabilitación, principalmente prevenir actos que nos puedan dañar como comunidad. Y estos centros de ayuda para jóvenes, para niños, pienso que es muy importante para que ellos puedan salir adelante y no tengan tantos problemas en las calles con drogas, principalmente para prevenir todo esto. También nuestra comunidad ha sido muy afectada, aparte de nuestra comunidad, el mundo entero ha sido muy afectado por lo del COVID. Hay mucha gente que aquí en nuestra comunidad ha tenido pérdidas de seres queridos, de enfermedades que no han podido cubrir sus gastos. Y ese dinero pudiera ser utilizado para la gente que ha sido afectada con COVID. También en esta pandemia nuestras familias se han visto afectadas psicológicamente. Este es un hecho que lo han puesto a un lado, y nuestras necesidades también es apoyo psicológico, emocional para todas las familias, principalmente con esta pandemia que vivimos. También necesitamos apoyo con hospitales, doctores, dentistas, todas estas necesidades para nuestra gente inmigrante. Transportación gratis, y todo esto les quiero comentar que es muy necesario ahorita en nuestra comunidad. Espero que nos puedan escuchar, y no queremos solo promesas, queremos hechos. Muchas gracias.
Hello, good evening. My name is Ana Calderon. I'm a member of the community, and I thank you for hearing our needs this evening. As a community, especially, I'd like to thank you for letting us allow us to think, or excuse me, to express ourselves of what our thoughts are regarding these topics here. So as far as the budget, I just feel that the monies that are going to the police is just too high, too much. The community has needs, lots of them. And so it's a lot of money that's going to the police. In fact, especially the kids and the youth of our community, they have needs. It would be a great help to have a community center in the area and a rehab center for those in need. These centers would be of great help for the kids. In that way, they can be successful in life and avoid these kids having problems like with drugs, and these places would prevent them getting into trouble. Also, our community has been affected by COVID. There's been losses, lots of losses, and there's just expenses that need to be covered. So this money could be used for people that have been affected by COVID. There's lots of emotional and psychological needs, and also there's needs of hospital, doctors, dentists, and all of those needs are for immigrants. And finally, free transportation, that's a great need. And so that's something that we need right now. We don't just want promises, we want people to act and put it into motion. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ismael Moreno.
El siguiente orador, Ismael Moreno.
No se encuentra. La persona que sigue va a ser Marta Flores, por favor.
He is not here. The next person would be Marta Flores.
Thank you.
Presente.
I'm here.
Sí. Hola, mi nombre es Marta Flores. Y el motivo
Hello,
de
my
mi
name is
llamada
Marta Flores.
El motivo de mi llamada es para exigir que inviertan nuestro dinero en nuestras necesidades que hay en nuestra comunidad y no solo se enfoquen en la policía, pues como sabemos no es segura, pues cuando tenemos una emergencia no sabemos si va a ser contraproducente, pues se sabe que la policía no está entrenada para cuando una persona tiene una crisis mental. Y según ellos se sienten amenazados y les tiran a matar sin ningún remordimiento, al dolor ajeno, por lo que exijo que el dinero se destine a hacer centros de rehabilitación para personas con adicciones y salud mental. Los que votan a favor de dar tanto dinero a la policía están cometiendo una barbarie. Su significado es actitud de la persona o grupo que actúa fuera de las normas, cultura, en especial de carácter ético, y son faltos de compasión hacia la vida o la dignidad de los demás. Tengan más empatía por la comunidad, pues es la comunidad la que los puso en el puesto que están. Gracias.
Mario, ¿puedo traducirle por Marta? Me ha pedido y tengo...
Is this Vidi?
Sí.
Matt, Vidi is asking to interpret for Marta's last statement.
Please proceed.
Prosiga, Vidi.
Okay. Hi, my name is Marta Flores. Today I am calling to demand that our money is invested in the needs of our community and not to continue to just be focused on more police. Because we know that safety, when we have an emergency, doesn't necessarily mean it'll come from the police. We don't know if calling them is going to be counterproductive, because we know that they're not trained when someone is having a mental health crisis. And according to them, they constantly feel threatened by our presence and by our existence or by our crisis, and shoot at people trying to kill without any remorse to the pain that they're creating. to the families impacted. And so that's why I'm here today, to demand that this money be invested in the rehabilitation of people struggling with addictions or substance abuse. And that this money that we have continues to support the health of our communities, including our mental health. Folks who vote, those of you who vote to give more money to the police are committing a barbarous act, which is defined as, and is barbarous, which a person or a group that are acting outside of the norms of our culture and ethics, and that are acting without compassion towards the dignity and honoring the life of other people. I'm pleading that you all have empathy for the community that you're representing, because it is this community that puts you in the positions you're in.
Our next speaker is Rosa Gomez.
Nuestro siguiente orador va a ser Rosa Gómez.
Hola, buenas tardes. Pues yo no soy Rosa, me llamo Miros. Y yo soy una persona que vive en el Distrito 6. Y sabemos que en el Distrito 6 se encuentra de representante el señor Sao. El señor Sao no me representa a mí, no representa a la gente de color, a la gente morena, a la gente indocumentada. Él solo representa a la popularidad que no es especialmente atacada por la policía. Él representa la supremacía blanca y sigue dándole apoyo al abuso que sigue dando la policía, especialmente en áreas como Maryville. Vemos diferentes áreas alrededor de donde él se encuentra, donde son lugares donde viven personas blancas, donde vemos que hay dinero y las calles se encuentran limpias, y vemos áreas como Maryville, donde hay lugares que necesitan más recursos comunitarios, que necesitamos vecindarios más limpios y necesitamos más apoyo, especialmente para la gente que está sufriendo de salud mental y también necesitan apoyo de rehabilitación. Sal, tú no hablas por mí, tú no hablas por mi familia, no hablas por gente que también tiene la misma piel de color que yo, mi estatus migratorio. Tú solo hablas por la gente que da dinero y que te sigue manteniendo aquí. Pido que no le den dinero a la policía y que por favor den ese dinero para recursos para personas que necesitan apoyo de salud mental, recursos para gente que necesita apoyo de parte de la pandemia. Y como saben, si no saben, esta pandemia todavía está siguiendo y todavía hay gente que está siguiendo perdiendo sus trabajos día a día, especialmente la gente indocumentada. Dinero para gente que no tiene hogares. Por esta pandemia, mucha gente ha sido desalojada de sus hogares y no han podido buscar un lugar de vivir. Mucha gente sin hogar que sigue sufriendo. Y más recursos para los jóvenes. Hagan su trabajo. Escuchen a la gente. Porque como mencionó mi compañera Marta, nosotros los pusimos en su lugar y los podemos sacar cuando no hablan por su gente. Gracias.
Gracias. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, my name, and I'm sorry, señora, ¿cuál era su nombre?
Me llamo Miros, M-I-R-O-S, Miros.
My name is Miros, M-I-R-O-S, and I live in District 6, and in that District 6, my representative is Sal, but Sal doesn't represent me. He doesn't represent my color. He doesn't represent brown people or black people or undocumented people. He believes in white supremacy. He continues giving a voice to these people. White people, where they live, their streets are clean, and they're receiving more resources. What we need is more centers for people that suffer from mental health and rehab centers. Sal, you don't speak for me. You don't speak for people that have the same immigration status as I do. Therefore, I don't want more money for the police. I want more mental health resources for people. And as a matter of fact, right now with the pandemic, if you don't know that we're still going through this, there's people still losing their jobs. There's people that have been vacated from the homes. There's still people that are suffering. So we want you to listen to the people. And as Marta said previously, we can take you out. And so we can take you out when you don't speak on our behalf and act. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Manuel.
El siguiente orador es Manuel.
Mario no se encuentra, pero una persona que se tiene que ir y ha estado esperando mucho tiempo está en la lista, pero puede pasar ahorita, es Olga Garciola.
He is not here, but somebody that needs to leave now is on the list. Her name is Olga Garciola.
Olga Garciola.
Garciola.
Olga with an H.
Un momento.
Disculpe, señora Olga, ¿es usted Olga Amador o Olga Díaz?
No, soy Ogla.
Ogla.
Ogla. Ajá.
Olga H-O-G-L-A.
Yes, please proceed.
Garciola.
Prosiga, señora.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Ogla Garciola y estoy aquí uniéndome a la comunidad en la petición de que se reivindique el presupuesto que están organizando. Estamos en una pandemia y podemos ver lo que ha ocasionado la pandemia en estos tiempos. Debemos de ser más humanistas y debemos de dar más presupuestos a la gente que realmente lo necesita. ¿Cuál gente es la que más lo necesita? Hay gente que vive de cheque a cheque, trabajando y destinando su dinero a los biles, a sus recursos, a su familia, y no tienen el presupuesto necesario para sobrevivir o salir adelante. Podemos ver que la policía recibe demasiado dinero y seguimos viendo los mismos resultados. ¿Cuáles resultados? Racismo, prepotencia, un exceso de fuerza bruta que ha matado a gente, y seguimos dándole dinero a ellos. Yo creo que esta pandemia nos debe de hacer pensar y sernos más humanistas y decir, ¿sabes qué? Tanto dinero para un mismo resultado, no, tenemos que destinar ese dinero a centros de rehabilitaciones, a los jóvenes, es el futuro, ustedes están ahí, ustedes tienen que pensar en la siguiente generación que viene, en los jóvenes. ¿En qué van a dejar a esos jóvenes? En que estamos saliendo de una pandemia en lo cual ha ocasionado demasiadas muertes, gente que ha perdido familiares, y ustedes están pensando dar dinero a la policía, que muchos de ellos no tuvieron problema, ellos siguieron con su trabajo, ellos siguieron obteniendo dinero, y hubimos gente que perdimos trabajos, hubimos gente que tuvimos que hacer arreglos de pagos en la renta, en la luz, en trabajos perdidos que hemos tenido. Yo me uno con esta comunidad, yo soy de Phoenix, mi código postal es 85033, y ustedes pueden venir y checar todo lo que nosotros estamos diciendo. Hay calles que les hace falta,
Olga,
mantenimiento,
por favor termina sus comentarios, Olga, para dar tiempo para el intérprete.
Ahí, jamás he visto un pasto verde, jamás he visto un columpio completo, y hay gente...
Disculpe, señora Olga,
dígame.
¿puede pausar?
¿Sí?
Was there a comment from the chamber?
Sí, Olga, por favor, sí puede terminar sus comentarios para dar tiempo al intérprete.
Señora Olga, ¿puede terminar su comentario así para darle tiempo al intérprete?
Ok, sí. Nomás quería decir que ustedes que están haciendo presupuestos pueden hacer las cosas mejor, y ver unos mejores resultados.
Gracias, señora. My name is Olga. Good evening, and I'm here on behalf of the community. And first, I'd like to ask to petition to re-vindicate this proposed budget. We see that what it's caused, there's people that are in need. There's people that are living paycheck to paycheck. We ask that no more money go to them. There's people that are just surviving, just getting by. We want them to be successful. So we see this racism, we see the excessive force, we see that they're brutally killing our kids, and we keep giving to them. So why so much money? So we should invest in rehab centers. We should invest in the youth. We should think about the next generation that's coming up, the kids. So we're losing so many people to death, our relatives, and you're giving money to the police. We've lost our jobs. We've had to make arrangements for our rent, electricity, and we've all lost our jobs. I live in 85033 zip code. You can check our streets. You can see how much it's affected us. So I just want to see that the budget needs to improve. There needs to be results. Thank you. Matt, this is Mario.
Yes, sir.
May I make another request? And as was stated previously at the beginning, if residents can make pauses so the interpreter can interpret efficiently?
Yes.
Thank you. Se va a estar haciendo un anuncio de parte del intérprete o los intérpretes. Si favor, sabemos de que son temas emocionales y todos estamos emocionados. Sin embargo, si acaso les podemos pedir si pueden decir sus pensamientos en frases, oraciones, cortarlo. Entendemos de que queremos escuchar sus emociones y queremos escuchar todos sus pensamientos y opiniones. Sin embargo, les pedimos si acaso lo pueden hacer en pedacitos, así para poder catar lo mayor posible de sus pensamientos. Se los agradeceríamos mucho. Gracias. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Georgina Martinez.
Siguiente orador será Georgina Martínez.
¿Sí, presente?
I'm here.
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
Yo quería decir que aquí soy con la compañía Poder en Acción y no queremos que den más dinero a la policía, no queremos que pongan las 75 nuevas posiciones al departamento de policía. Nosotros ya no confiamos en la policía, no necesitamos vigilancia de la policía. Nosotros necesitamos soluciones que de verdad hagan seguras nuestras vidas. La policía no necesitamos. Buenas noches.
Good evening. My name is Georgina Martinez, and I belong to the organization Poder en Acción. And we just don't want more money to the police. We don't want these 75 new positions to the police. We don't trust the police. The police, they're not caring for us. So we want to feel safe. We don't feel safe. So we don't want this to go to the police. I thank you and good evening.
Our next speaker is Ana Juarez.
Siguiente orador será Ana Juárez.
varias personas han tenido que irse. Ahorita la próxima persona en la lista que tienen es Lourdes Miranda.
Several people have had to leave. The following person on the list that is present is Lourdes Miranda.
Thank you, Mario. She may proceed.
Puede proseguir, señora Miranda.
Hola, buenas tardes. Yo soy Lourdes Miranda. Mi código postal es 85033. Más que nada yo quisiera pedir que nos hagan caso sobre el presupuesto. Yo pienso que no es justo que den mucho presupuesto a los policías, sabiendo que hay más necesidades en la comunidad. Yo pienso que si se repartiera todo esos fondos que dan a los policías en la comunidad, que necesitamos muchas cosas como en los parques, las calles, las escuelas. Necesitamos centros comunitarios como para los adictos, los muchachos jóvenes que están sufriendo adicción, que haya recursos para ellos. También hay muchos abusos y violaciones a jóvenes. Yo pienso que todos esos fondos que se ocupan para nada más de policías, que ellos tienen los fondos más altos, y nosotros necesitamos toda la comunidad en otras cosas. Pienso que por favor, si nos escuchan, yo pienso que ya escucharon muchas personas que necesitamos esas necesidades de los fondos que pueden ir como a los bases, que nos den para que nos den gratuito, nos den ayuda en la comunidad, como centros de comunidad para mejorar las viviendas, que hay muchas personas que no tienen dónde vivir, como personas que andan en la calle, personas que no tienen que comer.
Señora, disculpe, señora, por favor, ¿sí puede terminar sus comentarios?
Muchas gracias por escuchar.
Gracias, señora. My name is Lourdes Miranda, and good evening to everybody. I live in 85033, and I would want the money for the budget to be used in other places, not to the police. The community needs money. If the funds were shared with the community, we could use that money for parks, streets, schools, a community center for addicts. That way these addicts can be provided resources. There's lots of rape going on amongst young people. So those funds that the police is receiving, it's the highest in the city. So we need these community centers. I've heard of so many people that are in need. We need buses, free buses. We need these community centers to improve the community. So lots of people don't even have a place to live at. They're out in the streets. And so I thank you very much for listening to me.
Our next speaker is Irene Alvarez.
Siguiente orador es Irene Álvarez.
Hola Mario, soy Viri. Casi todas las personas ya se retiraron, quedan 2 personas, o déjame te doy los nombres.
Sí.
Y también me gustaría que si por favor tomen lección de esta noche. Vamos a tener igual más de 50 personas registradas para el 20, que si pueden averiguar cómo hacer traducción simultánea para ayudar a reducir el tiempo. Sería muy importante para que la gente pueda
participar. Ok, Estela y Berta son las últimas dos personas.
Un momento, por favor. And Matt, Vidi is indicating that there's only 2 people left that wish to speak. And she is also requesting that for the next meeting, the fact there's over, I believe Vidi said over 200 people registered. And the fact that this meeting is taking so long, we'd like to request and see if this following meeting, if we can have simultaneous interpreting, because there's lots of people that have now departed and because the meeting has been taking so long. And so the following 2 people are left to speak, Estela and Berta.
Thank you, Mario. Then we'll go to Estela.
Entonces vamos a seguir con Estela.
Ok. Eran 50 personas, no 200.
Okay. Vidi is correcting, it's 50 people, not 200.
Thank you.
Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Estela Varela y soy del Distrito 5. Vivo en la comunidad de Phoenix.
Hello, good evening. My name is Estela Varela. I live in District 5 in the community in the city of Phoenix.
Como persona que pago impuestos, quiero y exijo que necesitamos soluciones que en verdad hagan seguras nuestras vidas. La policía no es seguridad en nuestras vidas. Solo nos trae más problemas.
As a taxpayer, I want
ya no
to
sabemos si
demand.
hablarles o no. Cuando hay algún problema, muchas veces en lugar de solucionar los problemas, nos vienen a hacer más grandes el problema a la comunidad. Necesitamos que inviertan nuestro dinero en nuestra comunidad. Tenemos muchas necesidades. Yo estoy de acuerdo a que hagan un centro de rehabilitación para gente con problemas de drogadicción y que sea gratis. Que sean para personas con necesidad, que no tengan dinero, no importa que tengan documentos o sean indocumentados, porque cuando nosotros pagamos nuestros impuestos, no nos preguntan si somos indocumentados, de todos modos tenemos que pagarlos. Entonces creo y me siento con el poder de exigir que ustedes ayuden a la comunidad, que pongan un centro de rehabilitación para personas con problemas. Le exijo que tener una ciudad saludable, parques, escuelas, calles, que así como pagamos impuestos, así como pagan los de Paradise Valley, también Phoenix paga. Entonces eso es lo que nosotros estamos exigiendo para ustedes. Todo lo que se les dan a otras partes donde tienen dinero, también nosotros merecemos el mismo trato. Gracias.
Gracias, señora. Good evening. My name is Estela Varela. And as a taxpayer, I request and I demand solutions. We want to feel safe. When we call the police, all what they cause is a problem. They make the problem even bigger. There's lots of needs in the community. A rehab center for people that are suffering with drug problems is needed, and those services would need to be free for people that have this need, whether they're documented or undocumented. We pay taxes. They don't ask us if we're undocumented when it's time to pay taxes. We still pay taxes. So we demand that there be rehab centers for people that have these issues. There's people with health problems. We need parks in the communities. We need schools. We need better streets. So we demand that where there's people living, the people that have more money, since they're getting their needs fulfilled, we also ask for the same as well. We need and we request that we be treated the same way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario. Then our next speaker would be Beta Rita.
Siguiente orador sería Beta Rita.
Hola, buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Hello, good evening.
Mi nombre es Berta Rita. Bueno, esto va dirigido especialmente ahorita para Betty Guardado. Betty, creo que se me hace una falta de respeto que estamos mirándote, que no nos están poniendo atención. Y también es una falta de respeto muy grande a nuestra comunidad que ustedes como concejales no estén participando en estas juntas. Es la primera vez que te veo aquí en una junta. Ha estado más Carlos en otras juntas. Y tú como persona de España y que eres de nuestro distrito, no es justo que no estés ahí siquiera para escucharnos. Y estoy muy molesta por esto que estás haciendo. No sé por qué ocupan esos lugares si no están dispuestas a apoyar a nuestra comunidad. Nomás lo hacen por el beneficio de ustedes mismos. Y eso no está bien, no es justo. Ahorita estoy exigiendo que no se pongan las 75 nuevas posiciones que están al Departamento de Policía porque nosotros no necesitamos más seguridad. Nosotros necesitamos que pongan soluciones a nuestros problemas en nuestras comunidades. Necesitamos un centro de rehabilitación para personas con adicciones. Necesitamos transportación gratis para todas las personas. Necesitamos que hagan mejores nuestras vidas. La policía no es seguridad en nuestras vidas. La policía nos hace daño, separa a nuestras familias, mata a nuestros hijos, no soluciona ningún problema. Han puesto mucho policía y yo no veo las mejorías de parte de la policía. Yo no necesito que la policía vigile mi vida, todo lo que yo hago. Yo necesito que pongan recursos para mejorar nuestras vidas de nuestros hijos a futuro, que tengamos mejores jóvenes, mejores comunidades. He escuchado que han dicho que aquí en Maryville tenemos las peores personas. ¿Cómo no vamos a tener las peores personas si no tenemos trabajos para muchachos indocumentados que desgraciadamente gradúan y no tienen dónde estudiar, no tienen dónde ir, no hay los recursos suficientes para que ellos sigan adelante? También he escuchado que han dicho que ellos no quieren la ayuda, así ellos tampoco quieren ir muchas veces a las cárceles. Sin embargo, son detenidos y los meten a fuerzas. Eso quiero.
Señora, disculpe, por favor, termine sus comentarios.
Yo no quiero tomar la ayuda que lo metan a fuerzas, pero que salgan.
Señora, si gusta ir terminando con sus comentarios, por favor.
Es todo. Y sé que tú hablas español, de ti y entendiste todo lo que he estado yo hablando. Gracias y que pasen buenas noches.
Gracias, señora. My name is Beta Rita. Good evening. And I just want to call out Betty Guardado. I think it's a very lack of respect, the fact that you're not paying attention. You, as a member of the council, you need to participate. This is the first time I've seen you listening in on these meetings here. I've been to other meetings, and it's just not fair to not see you in these meetings, and I'm very upset what you're doing. You just want to benefit yourself, and I just think it's so unfair. The 75 positions to the PD, we don't need them. We need solutions. We need our needs to be fulfilled. We need rehab centers. They need to be free. The police, they don't improve our lives. They kill our kids. They don't offer any solutions. They create problems. The police, they're not taking care of us. What we want is a future for our kids. We want community centers. I've been told that Maryville is the worst area in the city here. And how the fact that these kids, the way they're being raised in these communities, the schools, the education, and we just want them to be successful. We want rehab centers for them. And to sum it up, Betty, I know you understand Spanish, and I know you're listening. Thank you, and good night.
Councilwoman, I've checked with our IT staff, and that was the last comment of the evening.
Perfect, thank you. So I'm gonna just do my comments in Spanish, and then I'll turn over to English. So quería dar las gracias a todos los que vinieron el día de hoy a estar con nosotros. Sé que no es fácil, especialmente cuando el sistema no está trabajando como queremos que trabaje, pero estamos escuchándolos, estamos viendo la manera de cómo mejorar las cosas. También quiero dar las gracias a todo el staff de la ciudad de Phoenix, a Jeff, a su equipo, que están tratando lo mejor que pueden para tratar de hablar con la comunidad y tratar de ver la manera cómo podemos seguir mejorando la comunidad, cómo podemos traer diferentes recursos, diferentes programas a la ciudad de Phoenix. Este año estamos trayendo cosas diferentes y yo pienso que es gracias de la manera como Jeff y su equipo han manejado el dinero en el último año, pero también queremos que sigan participando. Esta es la segunda junta en la que estoy yo. Tuvimos una el martes y esta es la segunda que tenemos, y vamos a seguir escuchando. Queremos que sigan hablando, y yo sé que vamos a trabajar para tratar de arreglar los conflictos que tuvimos el día de hoy con la comunicación y con la tecnología. So I just want to start by thanking everyone that participated today. It was a long night. I just want to thank city staff. Jeff, thank you so much for everything that you guys do. I think it's a very innovative budget that we're putting forward. We're adding new things into the budget, and I think it's because of the way that you guys have managed the money in the last year. It was a very challenging year, but we do need to continue to listen to the community. I know there were some challenges tonight, some hiccups when it comes to communication and having folks log in, and I'm hopeful that we will fix those for our next hearing that will be happening in the next few days. And with that, again, thanks to the staff, thanks to the constituents that called in and spoke. And yeah, so thank you for everything. And the budget looks great. And I know that we'll continue to make changes as these meetings continue to happen. And I know our constituents always have the best ideas, and we will continue to move forward. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman, and thank everyone for attending tonight, and have a good evening and stay safe.
And $60,000 from the Coronavirus Relief Fund to purchase 800 tablets with built-in hotspots for families in city public housing with school-age children.
In public housing, we have very little Wi-Fi access, and a lot of our families don't have any laptops or computers.